My worst fears have come true. Sword Art Online 2 is repeating itself in the worst way possible. Kirito is back to being the ultimate badass who is unstoppable, but he's still brooding. He has tragedy following behind him. And now he beats Sinon, but not before, making her pretty much fall in love with him. Of course, being sort of tsundere as she is, she's like, I'll still kill you next time. It's like, your face is blushing. You already looked into his eyes. It's too late for you, Sinon. You were so badass before, but now the presence of Kirito has completely just ruined any chance of redemption. As soon as that moment of weakness of, oh my god, you're so amazing, Kirito, you're someone to look up to, let me kiss your ass, it's like, I don't care how strong you are, you're done. I mean, Asuna was badass too, and as soon as she fell in love with Kirito, she just went down the crappers to just sitting on the fucking sidelines while Kirito did everything. Okay, I don't want this to sound like a rant. I do not want this to be nothing but anger, and yelling. I still have a little tiny hope that Sinon will do something amazing to come back strong. But after this, it almost feels like Sword Art Online is trying to shove this great original world and new character just to constantly remind us of, hey, remember the original Sword Art Online game? That was great, wasn't it? Kirito was amazing. And it just goes on and on to make it feel that way. It makes up this whole backstory that was never in the original series. Honestly, if it was, it would have been great. But because it's being just announced here, it just makes it feel like they're kind of forcefully telling us, like, hey, Sword Art Online wasn't as bad as you all think. This stuff happened in it too. Well, you didn't show us that stuff before. You just kind of shoved that kind of stuff away to show us more of the romance between Kirito and Asuna. And now that you realize you fucked that up, you're trying to force all these extra scenes that we've never seen before into Sword Art Online 2, while you're trying to introduce this awesome new female character. It feels like you really have no respect for your own show and you just want to redeem yourself and make yourself look good again to your viewers. But by doing this, it just seems like you don't know what you're doing. You don't have any actual respect for the material you're writing. Apparently Kirito killed 2 laughing coffin we've never heard about, and it's or 3 technically, with that traitor guy within the Red Diamond Guild or whatever. I don't even remember their name. They barely were in there at all, so screw them. So technically he's killed 3 people, and that's haunting him, even though technically it's never bothered him before. In fact, it's just seemed like a footstool's like, hey, they tried to kill me, so I killed them. Boom. I'm good. I gotta save some people. Screw it. Don't let that bother me. But now it's just like Kirito needs some tragedy behind him, so his words have weight to them. Let's make him completely horrified and traumatized at the fact that he's killed these 3 people, even though they were murderers themselves. So again, it's just, with Sinon, it made sense because she was still a little girl. She had no understanding what was going on and all that fear. So with Sinon, when she's afraid of killing people, at least in the real world, holding a gun, it makes sense. And the whole virtual world, again, that's debatable, but whether or not she's actually, affected by it so much is also still great. But Kirito, his tragedy makes no sense at all. It just comes out of left field and just completely makes me feel like it's made up to up the ante. It's just like, hey, Kirito has this new obstacle to overcome. A new obstacle that never bothered him before. and now he's just completely freaking out throughout the rest of all his matches. Of this, and it's just he's going crazy. Running into the line of fire and not caring about his own life. It's like, isn't this the same thing as Sword Art Online? He didn't care about his own life. He just charged in to be kind of the hero. And when he finally fights Sinon, I thought Sinon would have been more calm. In fact, the fact that he wasn't dodging her attacks, I would have expected just like, wow, I mean, this guy's actually strong. I'm happy. Let's do this. But no, she's more like horrified. It's like, why is this guy so strong? I don't understand. It's just like, what happened to you, Sinon? What happened to you? She completely turns into the scared little girl, not understanding how Kirito can be so strong, willfully and physically, and he's so amazing. And even at the end, when he kind of just gets that sword up to her throat, showing that I could have killed you anytime I wanted. What was the point of you putting your arm around her waist? Like, what was the point of that? It had nothing to do with showing that you could have killed her. It was just like, hey, baby, come here. I'm awesome. It's like, oh, no. There were so many moments in this episode where I just wanted to stop watching and just maybe come back to it hours later when I'm calmed down. But I really needed to have my review and impression be as authentic as possible, because I didn't want it to be watered down by, I don't want people to think I hated this. This episode made me hate the show, and it hasn't. I don't hate the show. I have to wait until the very end of the season to actually claim that. But as far as this episode goes now, it really just irritated me. It really did. And from what I'm hearing in this episode, in the dialogue, it sounds like it's still possible to make it into the main tournament, even if you've lost the first block. You can try another block and then still make it into the main tournament that way. I feel like maybe Sinon should have won. She has more experience in these kinds of battles. She should have won. Kirito would have been like, oh my god, I can't believe I lost. I gotta get stronger. And then he tried that new block. And then he finally got to the main tournament, where either two options, where he could have fought Sinon in the semifinals and then Death Gun in the finals, or Death Gun beat Sinon in the semifinals, potentially giving the idea, Kirito the idea that, oh my god, he killed her with that gun, which means she's dead in real life. Now I really have to kill Death Gun. Serious mode, let's get to it. That could have been some of the options. I'm just saying. But no, it's just like Kirito's badass from the very beginning. Sinon is gonna fall in love with him, and I really can't. I honestly really can't find a good part of this episode where I felt like, okay, that was good. Why does the rest of the episode have to suck? No, throughout the entire thing, I'm just sitting there in complete shock at just how repetitive this feels. I'm really wondering what is going through the head of the creator of this show as to why he's doing the same thing over again. I mean, haven't we already pretty much established in those two other games, or that first season, that Kirito was a badass and all these girls fall in love with him? It's just, why do I have to do that again? Why do that again? Especially after introducing such a badass female character, and then to completely turn her into a scared little girl, for Kirito to come in and put his arm around her. Is like, don't worry, I will show you what true strength is. And it's just this is not a rant. It may sound like it, but I don't completely go out and just criminalize this episode. Like, it isn't completely horrible. It just is repetitive, and that's honestly one of the worst things you can do for a show as creative as Sword Art Online. With all this world and gameplay, aspects of it, and good side characters. And to have to be forced to repeat the first season, it's honestly a terrible thing to do when you have so many other things you can be creative with and just expand. But either way, yeah, this was not a good episode. I really did not like it. Hopefully next episode will be better, but I doubt it because it feels like the focus will be now taken off Sinon and just more of Kirito's, oh my god, I killed people. Oh no, now I gotta take down that gun. It's like he's mad at me because I killed someone he knew. It's like, get over yourself, Kirito. Your trauma does not hold a single bit of salt with me. But hopefully Sinon comes back strong. Hopefully. God, do I hope that Sinon comes back strong. I really hope. It's just... Until that faithful moment, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye-bye.